Welcome back, everyone. Here we are yet again. We are Living Life Holographic. I'm Inukai.
And I'm Chiron.
And we're here to tell you about pods of Magic the Gathering. And if you don't know what a pod is...
Playable on death.
Yes. Or it's the party.
Oh.
Basically, your group of friends of 4. You know, 1, 2, 3, and 4, or vice versa, or it goes around, whatever it is, clockwise, counterclockwise.
Who's over there?
We have George over there. Hey, George. We also have Kelly. Kelly, she's cool. She's new. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? But yeah, anyways, this is going to be a whole episode about Magic the Gathering, the pod/party, whatever it is that floats your fancy, really. And we're going to talk about who is the villain in your pod. Who is it that really boils you to the core? Who is the one that, like, you look at your group of people and be like, we got to take him down now, or her. We can't just do that. Yes, you're looking at him, boys. You are looking at him. I am
This is why
the good guy.
This is why you want to talk about this, because he is the villain and he loves it. Why is he the villain? Because
I enjoy it.
He enjoys it, but his decks suck in the first few turns, but if you let him go, he will destroy you.
Yeah, if I pop off, it's over. But, like...
If you concentrate all your energy and bring him down early, you'll win.
And, yes, anyways, going back to this, what is the strategy, basically? What is it that floats your fancy, really, Chiron?
My fancy?
Yeah, what floats your fancy? Like, what makes you, like, get into this nice groove?
Let's take a look at one of my decks.
All right.
This is my commander. You probably...
There you go.
Yeah, can't see
nice little zoom. Ooh, the art on there is fantastic.
I know. She is fantastic. Dusk Rose.
Ooh.
Basically, she only costs 4.
Okay.
She's 1/1. But lifelink, whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on her. And whenever she dies, create X/1/1 white vampire creature tokens with white lifelink, where X is her power. So basically, you could get her way up there. It'll be like 15/15. I think most I did was 18/18 in one of our games.
So you get 18 tokens with lifelink.
If when she dies, you get 18 tokens, all 1/1s, all with lifelink. Yes, and of a lot of cards in here that basically are +1/+1 counters, and all my creatures
have lifelink.
Yeah. So it's basically a combination of life gain, lifelink, and +1/+1 counters because of it.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's good, though.
Which is why a pod can be a lot harder than just one-on-one. Because if you have a deck that's built specifically for pods, it's probably not going to fare well when you're playing one-on-one.
One-on-one, yeah. I remember when I was testing out my commander deck against Chiron, his just mopped the floor with me because mine was just designated towards 3 other people. This is just I could wait one turn and not get attacked. But when you're just one-on-one, the only person attacking you is just right ahead of you.
Right.
You know, it's just well, crap, I did not think this through. This backfired. And there's Chiron going, okay, so I gained life. Okay, now I get to gain at least 5 +1 counters. I'm like, oh my God. And now this thing has trample. So... Yeah,
I had the trample. I don't think I had. There's no trample in that deck.
No, yeah. Is it it was the black and green one, right?
Yeah, they're both life gain decks. I have a black and white and a black and green, and they're both life gain decks. Yeah. And that one does have trample. But the black and white one, that's normal with her, does not have any trample. But if you add trample to it, it's great. But what makes you the villain more often than not is you always seem to have a counter spell at the ready in your hand.
Yeah.
Every time I try to do something awesome, you're just like... So I'm always looking over at you. I'm like, how many lands you got over there? Because if you have untapped lands...
That's true.
I know not to play something big.
Yeah.
It's like when you tap all your lands, then I can go here we go.
Yeah.
But more often than not, you purposely don't tap all your lands, especially later in the game. In the beginning of the game, you do.
Yes.
But later in the game, you don't. So, you need to get everything out as soon as possible or take you out as soon as possible, because after that, you're able to play cards, and you probably still could play cards, but you choose not to because you have instants in your hand, like counter spells, for anything that you don't like. So, half your deck is lands, counter spells, and board wipes.
Yeah. It doesn't seem fair, does it? Yeah.
What if the whole deck was just board wipes the whole time?
I would cry, honestly.
You can't win.
Yeah, you literally can't.
You won't be able to win because you're basically just board wiping everybody, so you're not putting anything else out there.
I think that's what I love about Magic the Gathering, especially like in a party setting, pod, whatever it is that you like to go ahead and call it, is that it's all about doing politics. And no, I'm not talking about all that. Yeah. And I love it because like you could just talk to your friend that is across from you, or directly like diagonal from you, or
you talk to them,
yeah,
or you yell at them.
I don't like to yell at them.
You cuss them out.
I'm like, you're gonna attack so and so, and they're like, you're right, I will.
Well, no, you do the opposite. You're like, I'm gonna attack Kyle. I'm like, please hit me. You always like encourage them to do something.
That's true, I do.
And you can tell it really gets in people's heads and makes people mad because like, I'm gonna attack you. You're like, please.
Sure.
But you only have like 15 health left. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. That's what you should do.
That's what you like. Chiron has a full fleet of lifelinks ready for attack.
Maybe I'm the opposite because when someone's attacking me and you have more stuff out, I'm like, what are you attacking me for? Hey, what are you doing?
I have 2 creatures. Kai has 10. So I'm the threat. Why is it that every time that he has 2 creatures and I have 10, no one attacks him? But then when I have 2 creatures and he has 10, it's vice versa. It's just like it just doesn't work out that way. It's funny because you literally try to like get people on the same like ground level with you and try to be like, hey, he's the threat. We gotta attack him now. He has no creatures, and I'm like, I do. I have no creatures. He's right. I have no creatures right now. You guys can't attack me.
That's one of the strategies. Is either you attack the person that you seem the most threatened by, because they have some people out, and you don't want them to keep growing, so you start attacking them. Or you can attack somebody that doesn't have anything out because they're weak, and you can pick on them and kill them off, so you don't have to worry about them. But if you do that, you're allowing your other opponent to grow.
Yeah.
Because if you're focusing all your energy on one person, and the other opponent's just like, go ahead, and they're like putting lands down, like, and they might keep a bunch of cards in their hand on purpose, and play like a small creature, and then when it comes back to them and you did all your time taking the other guy out, all of a sudden they're like boom, boom, and then they become the threat because you looked at the other person. So it's really hard to gauge, should you go after the immediate threat or should you go after someone who is weak, but then you're ignoring somebody else who is immediate
that's
threat.
A good question, yeah. Like I may be wide open, but like now there's a upcoming threat. It could be over there, it could be over here, over there. But like you're just like, that's where the conundrum hits. So like, shoot, like it's very tempting to hit Inukai right now. Like I would
it's
love.
Always tempting.
I want to hit him right now.
Even if you have nothing.
Yeah. If you have nothing, yes. If he has something, yes.
Well, because you like have no creatures, and then in 2 turns you might have like 6 creatures out because half of them or more than half are tokens.
Yeah.
Or artifacts.
That's right.
Because you bring out like 3 or 4 creatures a turn. Because like, oh, this triggers that. This triggers this. You love freaking triggers. Yes. And that triggers me.
That triggered him.
It triggers me that you like triggers so much. The other thing besides triggers, though, I don't do triggers as much. I mostly do like strategies of all my cards relating to one another, but they don't really all like trigger one after another, one after another. Like few may trigger, but you can go. You can trigger like 6 or 7 at a time at one point.
Yours is like simple but effective.
I like simple.
It hits fast and it hits hard.
Like the one big thing is also infinite loops.
Oh yeah, infinite loops.
And I have a couple simple infinite loops. So you just need 2 cards. For example, one card in my deck is basically every time I gain life, my opponents lose life. And every time my opponents lose life, I gain life.
Oh, so it goes like, oh my gosh.
So
yeah.
I put both of those enchantments out at the same time. If I hit one of my opponents, they lose life, I gain life. Because I gain life, they lose life. Because they lost more life, I gain more life. And that just seems unfair because it's an infinite loop. But you could also put more than 1 infinite loop in there. And 2, since you need usually more than 1 card to do it, you're still giving your opponents a little bit of time to get rid of one of those cards so the infinite loop does not happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it does, it just seems like
it's
impossible. Like, there's a couple of planeswalkers out there that I have one of them. and it just seems ridiculous. Like you have a draw power deck, and one of my planeswalkers, every time an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life, or
oh, that's right, yeah.
Or I get like
that's a good one.
or I get what was it like X 1/1 or 2/2 creatures for an amount of life I have, and that's in one of my life gain decks. If I have like 140 life, I get 140 creatures.
Oh, is that a Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can play a card to trick them to play a counter spell, and then you play your real one the next turn.
Yes. Yeah.
And I tried to do that one.
Mind games.
And I tried to do that, but it didn't work.
That's right. Yeah. It's like I remember Zach was across from you, and it was like, play it. It's like, are you sure? It's like, yeah. He's gonna do it the first time, and I was just like, second one. It's like, well, that didn't work, and I'm like,
No,
but yeah,
because you always have 4 or 5 counter spells in there. But what I don't understand is you always have at least 1 or 2 in your hand at all times, even early in the game. Like you've only gone through like what 20 to 25 cards, and you still only have 1 in there. Granted, if you have 5 in there in a 5-card deck, that's chances are 1 out of 25 cards.
Yeah.
So
4 counters and then 5 board wipes. I like to have.
So
or vice versa.
The chances of getting one like in the first few turns is possible.
Yeah.
Because of that. 7. But having a board wipe, you can't really play right away. It's more like a counter spell, but you always save your counter spells.
Yes.
And for me, I need to work on my draw power because a lot of times I find I'm like I have no cards.
Well, shoot, I have 2 cards in hand. Inukai looks like he's having a heyday. Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It just goes on.
Do I have a Recklary Tower out there? Yes, I do. All right, let's keep counting.
Well, what I'm gonna do, you gotta be careful because one of your decks you have amazing draw power, but we can draw you to death.
Yep, that's true.
Because you can keep drawing.
Yeah.
And then kill the artifact that makes you allowed to have your like multiple or unlimited.
No maximum hand size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many strategies out there. There's if your opponent loves drawing cards, then you try to go ahead and do the opposite. You want to go ahead and make sure that they keep drawing cards. Because at this point, it's already hopeless. You want to go ahead and just make sure that they outdeck themselves. There's like life gaining, life drain, like Kyron was saying.
Damaged. I want to build a damage dealt next, but
yeah, damage dealt. That's gonna be insane too.
There's just so many things out there that you could do. So that leads us to the end, and we want to know what is your main strategy, who is your villain, what cards do you like. This is all about strategy, and this is what makes Magic the Gathering so great. It's a strategy-based card game, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's even more fun when you yell at your friends.
That is true. So who is the villain in your pod/party? And leave their name down below.
Leave their name down below so we can yell at them. Yeah. Anyway,
I want to know who these other villains of mine are.
Go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram at Living Life Holographic. Give us a follow there. Like us on YouTube. Subscribe to us and that little bell. We appreciate every single one of you. And we're still moving along, having a great time, and we enjoy just talking about life and pop culture and games with you guys. So until next time, though, live your life holographic.
Live your life holographic.